I became obsessed with Section 8 and it made me $1.9 million. At 17, I bought my first property, and by 21, I had built a $1.9 million Section 8 portfolio that pays me $30,000 a month, every single month, in government guaranteed rent. And here's the wild part. I started with zero experience, no rich family, no fancy degree, just a blueprint. And today I'm going to walk you through the exact blueprint, the system that helped me escape the rat race, and give it away to you for free. Let me give you some real numbers. My very first deal, I bought a triplex for $95,000. I put in about $15,000 in rehab, it appraised at $130K, which gave me an instant equity of about $25,000. Rented all 3 units for a combined total of $2,400 a month. So before maintenance, I was netting $1,100. After maintenance, it was $700 a month. 6 months later, I bought a duplex for $80,000. I used a DSCR loan combined with cash from the first property, rehabbed it for about $10,000, and then rented that one for $2,600 a month because it was a nicer area. And rinse and repeat. So every time I stacked up enough rental income plus savings, I just reinvested. So I never touched the money. I just kept snowballing it over and over. And here we are, 21 years old. So it's been about 4 years total. And we are now at $1.9 million in properties. Almost all of them are Section 8. Most are single families because I did switch to single family. And each unit is renting for about $1,300 to $1,500 per house. We are grossing about $30,000 a month, with net being about 40% of that. But I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, it's Section 8. Section 8 is going to destroy the property. Wrong. I've actually had fewer issues with my Section 8 tenants than my regular market tenants. And why is that? It's because I actually screen my tenants. I verify income, I call references, I do walkthroughs, and most landlords skip this part and just kind of blame the Section 8 tenants and blame the system. And the truth is, Section 8 tenants don't want to lose their voucher. They take care of the place as long as you do your part as a landlord and do basic maintenance. Easily the biggest myth I've ever heard. You see, the smart investors are scooping up affordable homes, so homes that are $100,000 in the Midwest in these C-tier areas, and renting them through Section 8. So I've told you that I deal with Section 8 and why it's a myth that they're bad tenants, but why even deal with Section 8 in the first place? Well, there's 2 main reasons. Number 1, the government pays the rent. You literally get a direct deposit to your bank account every single month. It doesn't matter if COVID 2.0 happens, they will still pay. It doesn't matter if the tenant loses their job. The government might pay even more for that. You will get paid as long as you are keeping compliant with the yearly inspections. And the second reason is that rents are simply higher than people think. A lot of people think, oh, because it's Section 8 and they have no money, that means you're gonna get paid nothing. It's actually the opposite. In most areas that I know and that we're investing in, Section 8 pays above market rent, like usually 20% higher than market rent. And the reason is because they care a lot more about the bedroom count of the home more than the actual condition, price of the home, or square footage. So a home that might rent for $1,000 free market will probably rent for $1,200, $1,300 through Section 8. And some people think you can't change the market rent at all, like the government just gives you a price and you go with it, but that is also a myth. In many zip codes, a lot of people see the FMRs on the government websites being, let's say, $1,150, but you are an independent landlord. You're not restricted by anyone. You could rent it for $1,400, $1,500, as long as that is what other homes in the area are going for. And you have full control over that. And another little bonus is that there is just way less turnover. So Section 8 tenants tend to stay for 6 years on average, which is double to triple the amount a market rate tenant stays for. And the reason is kind of psychological. They simply don't want to go through the hassle of finding another Section 8 home when they probably spent 2 years on a wait list and then another 4, 5, 6 months just looking for a home that accepts Section 8. So they're going to stay in their current residence as long as humanly possible. If you're liking what I'm saying so far, and you're serious about building your own Section 8 portfolio, click the first link in the description. Join my free school community. I have over 600 investors already in there, and I run a free live Q&A twice a week, every Monday, Friday. So come learn, ask questions, and connect with other investors doing the exact same strategy as you. Now onto the system that I've used over and over and over and over again from property 1 all the way to my latest. Each step builds on the last, and it is designed for speed, simplicity, and scalability. And this all happened because I became obsessed with Section 8. Step 1. find the right market. If you're starting in the right place, everything just gets easier. So I look for homes that are priced between $70,000 to $100,000. 70 to 80K will get you more of a burr more than anything, just something a little bit distressed cosmetically, whereas 100 will usually get you a perfect turnkey home. I make sure that the amount that I could reasonably rent to a Section 8 tenant is at least 1.3% of the home purchase price. So a home that is 100K, I at least make sure it rents for at a minimum 1,300. And I look for cities and areas with a very long tenant wait list. That means that there is a huge demand for landlords in that area. So some of my favorite markets are Cleveland, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, Birmingham, Alabama, St. Louis, Missouri, honestly, most of the Midwest, if I'm being completely honest. And if you're going for a little bit higher prices, then places like Baltimore, Richmond, Virginia, Texas. Now, step 2 is securing the right financing. Most people think you need $100,000 in cash to get started, but no, this isn't a regular rental, right? This home isn't 400K. You have a few options. So the first is conventional loans. You can put down around 15 to 20%. It's great for investors who have a reliable job. The second option is FHA loans. This is fantastic for people that want to house hack or live in one unit and then rent out the rest. You can go as low as 3.5% down. And then my personal favorite, which is DSCR loans. It's 20% down, but you don't have to give your income statements, your W-2s, your pay stubs, none of that. All they look at is bank statements, and you can close under an LLC. They just need to make sure that the home itself is able to pay off the mortgage, taxes, etc. And that is the key to scaling. And by the way, that brings us to another huge myth. This process is way too complicated. It really isn't. Yes, the first deal is a learning curve. I'll admit that. You'll need to pass inspections, register with Housing Authority, get lead paint certification, especially if your property is built before 1978. But after the first time, it just becomes another box to check. And honestly, most of these requirements should be there anyways. Why would you want lead-based paint in your home? This protects your investment. So don't overthink this. HUD inspectors look for just a few key things: working smoke detectors, no exposed wiring, plumbing and HVAC in good condition, no leaks, no peeling paint, doors and windows lock. Basically anything safety and health related. You don't need crazy marble countertops. Just make it clean, safe, and functional. And I actually give my rehab crew a checklist that I custom made that passes my inspections 95% of the time on the first go. Step 4, the application process and the lease process. And it is also where most people give up, but once you get to this stage, you're golden. You're going to register your property with the Housing Authority, or at least call them to see what they require on their side. You're going to set your rent to what is comparable in your area. If your neighbors down the street also have Section 8 rentals going for $1,400, you'll list it at $1,400. You're going to pass the initial inspection, which I always schedule it right after rehab is finished. And then you're going to approve the lease to a qualified voucher holder. And pro tip, you should ask the Housing Authority if they're willing to hang up flyers of your property inside of their office, because a lot of the time they will have voucher holders come in, or new voucher holders getting their vouchers, and guess what? If your home is immediately front of eyes there, you're probably going to get some applications. And step 5 is lock in that long-term cash flow. So tenant screening still matters here. And I know that, the rent is coming from the government, but you still need to verify any income sources if they have any, even if it's McDonald's. Check their background and eviction history. I don't like violent offenders. I automatically reject them. Same with anyone that's had an eviction. And you also want to build a system prior to move-in for all forms of communication and maintenance. I like to make sure that everyone who needs maintenance has to submit an actual work order form. That way there is proof that I've received it. Now you have a repeatable, reliable income every single month. But just hearing about all of my actions and mistakes isn't suddenly going to get you a Section 8 property. And that's why I put together a completely free video where I show you my exact step-by-step system for building a passive income portfolio using Section 8 rentals. So check out this video on screen where I'll show you what you'll learn, how to get started, and how to use this information to go from $0 to over $1 million portfolio like I did. As always, I'm Joseph Khateri. Have a nice day.